So here are 6 exercises for stronger hips. Banded clamshells or resisted clamshells. So I'm just lying on my side, trying to flatten that right foot out as I open up that hip as far as I can. I'll try to flatten that left foot. I can even work through partial reps, partial ranges of motion where I don't go all the way down, just to kind of find where that weakness starts to build up and it starts to fatigue. Next here, this is a single leg plank rock back. So I'm training that left quad / hip flexor as I sit back. Putting my quad over my knee. You can feel that in that adductor and that hip flexor as I rock my body back. Glute over knee. Then I have an inner thigh side plank where I'm elevated. I'm taking my time with my setup. Knees at a 90-degree angle. You can feel that inner thigh working of that left leg, but the bottom leg is also working. That bottom leg is going to stay straight. Those adductors are working to keep those legs close together, but you'll feel your obliques and your hips working through this position as well. Don't rush your setup. Make sure you have a good stack through your shoulder to elbow so you can feel comfortable there. It's active support. Support the body. Make sure you breathe. You can also elongate to lengthen yourself out a bit. It's really good for your QL. Next here we have simple old hip flexion, resisted hip flexion using a resistance band. So what I want to do is tighten up that stabilization leg, the left glute that's stabilizing my body as I pull that foot on top of the box. I also don't want to round in my lumbar spine. I want to keep that neutral or kind of stick my butt out just a bit. So maintain stability in the base leg, the leg that stays on the ground. And just make contact, solid contact. And this was very similar. It's resisted hip flexion, but I'm just doing a little external rotation on the hip. So I can feel that in the inner thigh and the hip flexor as I pull up. Outwardly rotate the hip so the foot goes inward towards the knee. And on this exercise as well, I like to alternate sides. So I'm still trying to create as much stability as I can as I keep one leg on the ground, but you can alternate, still trying to get the hip up to near 90 as I externally rotate that hip and pull my foot in towards that opposite knee. Now here, this is a supine clamshell. I'm just trying to touch those knees together. I have my knees over my belly button. My tailbone is not quite pulled up off the floor, but I'm flexing the hips as far as I can possibly be, and I want to make contact with those knees. Make the knees touch. That inner quad should touch to the best of your ability. You'll feel that in your adductors and your hip flexors if they're flexed enough. And here, as I kick my heels down towards the glutes, you can just feel that activation that you've built up throughout those reps. So practice these exercises, work through them, and get stronger hips.